All right, we're back, everybody. We're back. Sorry about that. I had to get the camera working here. Um, I've got um some cool things that I'm pretty excited about. Why is this not letting me edit? Oh well. Okay, well, I'll worry about that later. But hello, sorry. I'd be back. I'd be back. Hello, sorry. I'd be back. I'd be back. Um, I've got a new setup going, obviously. Hey, Cammy. Sorry, I'm back now. um, what we're gonna do a little bit. I'm actually pretty excited about this today. I think this is gonna be pretty fun. We're gonna go ahead and watch some self-improvement videos stuff that I watch, and then um I'm just gonna like pause it periodically and uh stop and like use the triple S method to engineer a habit based off of what these guys are teaching. So kind of break it down from specifically, but a lot of self improvement videos talk about the what, and then go into the how, but maybe not go into the how enough so that it's actionable enough that you can just do it right away. Um, and so we're gonna break that down some more today with videos. And going forward, I honestly I'm just gonna let you guys in on my algorithm basically. So I most of the videos that I get are entrepreneurship slash business based, um, random TED Talks, neuroscience stuff, psychology stuff, and that's about it. Um, okay, awesome. Yeah, Cammy, have a good one. Um, and appreciate you. Appreciate you hopping on as always. You're a stud. Hope your habits are going well. Hope everything's going good. Um, yeah, Ishi, I figured my camera situation out here. We're gonna run this and probably just start watching this video. It's a Alex Hormozy, Chris Williamson video about how to force your brain to crave doing hard things. And I'm just gonna give you guys my algorithm basically, and then we're gonna stop this video periodically and break the habits down using the triple S method. So, Ishi, good to see you, boss man. Glad to have you on, and let me know in the chat whether you like this, um, whether you like this video type more, um, or not. Kings ASMR, what's good? Everyone, what's good? Welcome to the Habit Engineering live stream. Um, we are about to start watching this Alex Hormozy, Chris Williamson video called How to Force Your Brain to Crave Doing Hard Things. Enzo, thank you. Yeah, Itchy, we're repping a different format today. Um, and I'm just gonna let you guys in on my algorithm, basically. So, um, yeah, let's just go ahead and start it, and I'll break down different key points that they make into habits using the triple S method. And if any of you guys have any questions on implementation or anything in the video as you're going through, feel free to drop it in the chat. So let's get started. Let's get started.
You're going to lose sleep. You'll doubt whether it'll work.
Chris
You'll stress
Williamson
to make
is
ends
great.
meet. You won't finish your to-do list. You'll wonder whether you made the right call and have no way to know for years. This is what hard feels like, and that's okay.
Let me know if
Everything
you guys can
worth doing
hear
is
this
hard,
video.
and the more worth doing it is, the harder it is. The greater the payoff, the greater the hardship. If it's hard, good. It means no one else will do it. More for you.
Oh,
I
geez,
think
that's
a
so
lot
true.
of entrepreneurship and even personal growth is training yourself on how you respond to hard. Because in the early days, hard was, ooh, stop. This isn't good. I should, this is a warning sign. This is a red flag. I should slow down, or I should stop, I should pivot.
Okay,
But
awesome.
the more I think about it as a competitive landscape, as I'm clear on what this path is supposed to look like, and these rocks and these dragons are things that I'm going to have to slay along the way to get the princess or get the treasure, I get happier about the harder it is because I know that no one else will follow.
It's a selection effect.
Oh, okay. This is so true. This is so true. Like, once you figure out the path that you're like, okay, I need to be on this path. Like, this is me. This is my work that feels like play. It's not going to feel like play all the time, but you want to get as close as you can. Um, that's when you're just like, okay, when it's hard, then I know to double and triple down. Like, once you've found your path and you're like, yes, this is what I identify with, I'm gonna, like, this is who I am, this is what I want. Um, yeah, that's when pushing through any hard thing is definitely a lot more worthwhile.
Effect.
And I think if you can shift from this is hard to no one else will be able to do this, then it flips from being this thing that you're like, oh, poor me, to oh, poor everyone else who's going to have to fucking try. And I think that is so much more motivating as a frame for the exact same circumstance.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Okay, so there's a great daily habit right there, is just spending the time to reframe your mental thought processes into positive thought processes. Um, so like doing that once per day, like having a time set aside. You could say you take 5 minutes at every night or something at like 8 p.m. and you say, okay, from 8 to 8:05 p.m. I'm going to journal and just write down uh 1 to 3 negative thoughts that I had that day and then reframe them as to why they're actually positive thoughts. Um, just like per this video, like Hormozy said, um, this is really, really hard. It's like, actually, because this is really hard, it's going to make me succeed if I can do it or when I do it, right? So that's a lot better, I think.
I was thinking a lot about the lonely chapter that we talked about the last time. That was the best, most powerful idea I think that we came up with. And if you see there basically being no shortcuts toward getting the thing that you want, there are ways to be more and less efficient. And there are ways to do things with more and less of a positive disposition, which can actually make the journey feel an awful lot easier. But ultimately, if you assume that largely everyone needs to go through the same challenges that you're going through, every single difficult thing that you do is kind of like a massive wall that you need to get over. And you go, wow, fuck, I'm so glad that I've got over that wall. And think about how many people are going to be selected out. It's like the Hunger Games, you know? Think about how many other people are going to fall at that wall there.
Oh, what's up, Anthony? Good to see you, boss man.
People only root for people who don't need it.
Oh, shoot, dude. That's so facts. People only root for people who don't need it. Dang. Okay, hold on, guys. That's going in the quote book. Jeez. That's so true. For the most part. I think that quote is true. Uh for the most part, but not totally. I would say, um, love that, Anthony. That's hilarious. Um, so I would say a habit that you could implement based off of that thought process is like that people um only root for people who don't need it. Like that's not all the way true. Um and I would say that you can. Okay, sounds good, Enzo. Appreciate it. Um I would say that you really only you can find people who will root for you when you do need rooting for. They're just pretty hard to find. Um so I would say if you were looking for people to root for you and needing that support in your life, you could make a habit of going to one type of social event in the place that you live every single day or maybe every other day or something, and just then sifting through people and sifting through friends until you find those people who will support you even when or sorry, who will support you when you need support, um and not necessarily when you're big enough or popular enough or whatever that you don't need the support. Um, that's my thought. I would definitely recommend doing that. Like you always want a small quality group of friends over a large quantity group of friends because that's just the way to go. Anthony, that's okay. I'm not offended.
Like the amount of times when I was on my lonely path where I was too different from the friends that I had, but not successful enough to be friends with the people that I wanted to be friends with.
Mm, yeah, that's kind of where I am right now.
I used to spend
Oh,
every
freaking
morning
ads.
planning my day. But now, thanks to Motion, I can spend it with my toddler.
Get out of here.
That's when you want people to root for you. That's when you want people to support you. Once you've already won, people are like, he's amazing, he's so good. But like that's the time when you need it the least.
Yeah.
And so you always have to be the person who roots for you before everyone else does.
Mm-hmm.
And it's usually
Okay. There's a habit there. When the way that you can root for yourself before everyone else does is by having like a positive affirmation setup or something. You can just like make a little quote or stanza or something about your life, or have a few things that you say about yourself that you believe to be true. Um, and just repeat those every morning. So you could say, um, I will recite my list of positive affirmations every morning when I wake up at 7 a.m. And read them from the list on my that I have on my bedside table in my journal or something. Um, yo, what's up, Rohan? Um, that's funny, Anthony. Yeah, I don't pay for YouTube Premium. It's not worth it for me just yet. So we're gonna run with the ads. But yeah, that's a super good habit. Rohan, good job. Glad you have 90s in all your classes. Um, but yeah, I definitely recommend that. That's pretty cool.
a single clap in the auditorium for a very long period of time. It is a slow clap that's just you rooting for you.
Mm-hmm.
And that visual, I think, is one that you can kind of take because it is people struggle to do things alone.
Yeah.
And the path of the exceptional person is one of an exception, which means that you are not with other people. And
Mm-hmm.
rather than fighting that or bemoaning it, see it as an indicator that you're on the right path. Because if everyone else were cheering you on, then it means you're not in the right place because it means you're just like everyone else and that's not where you want to be.
Facts.
It's an
Facts. You have to, if you want to do anything exceptional, uh, you have to be comfortable with yourself and like existing inside your own brain. Because that's where you're gonna be for a lot of the time. Uh, Rohan, good job having 90s in your classes. No, that guy is not AI. He is Alex Hormozy. He's actually that buff. That's funny.
An interesting paradox that the energy it requires to start doing something is way more than the energy required to continue doing the thing.
Oh, that's so true.
And
that's exactly how it is, like in the gym or something. Like now that I have a six pack, but it's like way easier to maintain the six pack than it was to get it. Rohan, you'll have to let me know what you mean. What do you mean? But what if you aren't comfortable? If you could explain that a little bit further, that'd be great.
the beginning of doing anything results in the lowest amount of reward, both internal and external, than when you've been doing it for ages. So I think about this a lot with the show, that there was this stat that Spotify told us 85% of the listeners of this show found us in 2023.
Right.
Dang.
And I thought at the end of 2022, remembering at that point, I'd been on Rogan, we were at like 650K. We've got, we've been doing 550, 600 episodes deep.
Yeah.
Like I've got it. I've done the thing. Like this is me doing, if this isn't fucking doing the thing, I've moved to Austin, Texas. I've got an O1 visa. I've got like all the rest of this stuff. Jordan Peterson's been on twice. You've been on. And yet what?
Oh, okay. Yeah. So, okay, that's a good point, Rohan. If you aren't comfortable inside your brain, there's a number of different habits that you could implement. I would say the one that works for me the best is just like taking time with yourself every day. And so, like for me, I like to go on walks. And so I will just usually like I mean every morning I go on a walk and I just spend time with myself and with God and just like exist, right? If you want to be exceptional, you are going to have to be comfortable existing with yourself and just yourself. Like when I go on my walks, usually I don't take my phone. I don't take my other phone. I don't have an Apple Watch. I have no notifications. I leave everything at home and I just be. So having just doing my makeup count because I'm staring at myself every morning for like an hour. I mean, it could, if that works for you, it could work. But the key there is to just be with yourself in your brain, and let that just like figure out how you work. What's up, Jordan? Good to see you. Anthony, Brian, how's it going? Glad you're hopping on. Anthony, speaking of God, did you hear about the Pope? I'm an atheist, but I was still devastated. I love Pope Francis. Yes, I did hear he passed away. That was quite sad. I gotta plug my computer in here. Seems like a good guy. So, all right, let's continue on here.
Everything up until that point is
2 months of growth.
Yeah, I mean, we made more money just from a revenue perspective. We made more money and more subs in 1 month, December of last year, than we did in the entire first 3.5 years of the show.
That's
so
wild.
It's this odd paradox, and one of the things that you need to ensure, I've had this idea about protect your passion at all costs, because if you begin to hate the thing that you do, you negatively change your trajectory. And that means that at the time when you can benefit the most by every single unit of work, which is the later that you go, presuming that you continue to hit that upward trajectory, if you've completely killed any passion or desire to do the work in the early stages because you've you've not protected it appropriately. That can be by focusing on the wrong things, by not rewarding yourself, by not building it with people that care about you, by, you know, just not celebrating when you hit milestones, all of the things that actually help to keep you
Or
going.
being a character.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, real quick, I want to show you something. Do you want to see the worst
Russell, I
sales
love
presentation
you, but
ever? Check this out.
no, I don't want to watch your ad right now.
By the time you get to the stage where each unit of effort allows you to gain 1,000 or 1,000,000 of each of the things that it would have done at the very beginning, you've inverted the the passion equation. Takes way more energy to start a thing than to continue doing a thing, and yet in the beginning the rewards are way lower than they are at the end. But if you don't protect your passion, your motivation is at its lowest when you are at your highest amount of efficiency in terms of returning your time put in.
I think a hopeful message that anyone can think about who's in that hard period or in that start period is that
I think this is a really good point to just like emphasize. Like, this is where the triple S method comes in so clutch, because when you're setting up your habits in a way that they are specific, they are small, and they are simple, you're setting them up so you can do them consistently to the point where you can pass through that hard period um, with a lot less friction than most people normally do. Um, and most people, if they do pass through it with friction, um, which again is very, very few, uh, they lose that passion for it, kind of like Chris was talking about. But I think one of the ways that you can protect your passion as you're working is by implementing the triple S method in the way that you are going about working, so that the habits of work that you have are specific, small, and simple enough so that you can do them consistently without experiencing burnout. Um, yeah, super good.
it won't get harder. Like, this is the hardest part. And so if you can just make it through this, everything else is downhill. It's not that the things that the dragons are going to slay aren't going to get bigger. They are. But you become so much more equipped to slay them back. And you have so many more allies. You have people in the stands cheering for you. You have the audience. You have all of these other things that are behind you. But in the beginning, it's just you with a stick against a bear. And arguably that fight is a harder fight to win than beating a dragon when you have a nuclear bomb and 6 nations behind you. And so it's not even like the size of the hardship. It's just also the resources and how few of them you have, and how so much of the beginning is literally burning the one thing you have, which is time, because you have no leverage. You don't have the money to pay other people to help you. You don't have the resources to go like get someone no one can learn it for you. It's like there's a lot of the things that we care about a lot. Like, no one can work out for you. It doesn't matter how much money you have. No one can learn skills for you. And so in the early days, like, it feels so painful because you're like, you look around to see who can help you, and then you're like, fuck, it's me again. And I think getting comfortable with the idea that each of these things, kind of like Slumdog Millionaire, if you've seen that movie where I'll give you the TLDR. He goes through his entire life of randomness, and he gets on a Who Wants to Be a Millionaire version in India. And it has 12 questions to make $1 million. And from only 12 random experiences in his life that seemed meaningless at the time, was he able to answer all of the questions and then ultimately win. The skills that you develop along the way, like Steve Jobs learning calligraphy that then became Apple fonts that, transformed how we type. Those early days, that little trench winning in the weeds, oftentimes gives you these huge advantages later on because you have more context than anyone else. And so rather than lament them and hate the fact that you're going through it, remembering that these will be arrows that you put in the quiver that you're going to be using to slay the future bigger dragons. And so
that's okay. So that's a good point that I want to touch on. Like, knowledge compounds, but knowledge only compounds. Or sorry, wait, hold on. Let me rephrase that. So there's one of my favorite quotes is that knowledge is power, but it's the use of knowledge that gives you power, right? And so the knowledge in your head compounds over time, obviously, but the power that knowledge gives you only also compounds over time when it's in use. And so, yeah, I just thought that was a good point.
expecting it to be easy is what makes it much harder than it ever is.
That's
This
facts.
is an ad
Ay,
about
ay, ay.
client acquisition for your marketing agency, coaching, consulting, or course selling business.
I've always loved
Someone paid for my YouTube Premium. LOL.
earning my stripes with the things that I've done, whether it was with Nightlife or running the podcast or doing whatever. And I think there's like a degree of nobility to it, but functionally that's just like it's a nothing. Like where's the nobility? But I think the reason that you can feel noble about it and the reason that it gives you a positive reward is you know that you understand every single inch of the things, and that if you want to hold a conversation, we went out for dinner with our new CFO and accounts people on Saturday, and they said, you ask a lot of questions. Most people don't ask very many questions. And I also don't care at all about accounts, really. Like, I'm not doing this for money, but they said, you ask a lot of questions. I said, well, I don't ever really want to walk into a room and not be able to hold my own, at least just competently, if it's to do with something that I care about. And the same thing goes for this. Like, I started to learn about focal lengths and frame rates and negative fill, reverse contrast lighting. And then sure enough, 2 years after we started doing it, a bunch of different, I sent you the Instagram thing, like this really awesome film Instagram that I've been following for ages, picked us up for what we were doing and gave us props independent of the talky thing, which is fundamentally what we're here for. And we created this entire new industry of like cinematic podcasting, which was recognized by, as far as I'm aware, like the best cinematic, it's called Filmlight, at Filmlights, people can go and see it on Instagram, like the best decoder and analyzer of cinematography. And 2 years ago when we started, I remember thinking, fuck, like, I love the way that they've broken down what happens in Ad Astra. Oh my God, the whole thing was shot on 35mm. Each different scene's got 2 pairings of colors and stuff like that. And then, but the reason that we were able to get there, at least in some part, is I can have a conversation with people. So each of the things that you do when you not only win in the weeds, but live in the weeds, then allows you downstream from that to see the things that other people aren't seeing.
There's a quote that I love from Dr. Kashey. I'll probably butcher it, but experts have more ways to win than beginners do. And so if an expert goes into any setting that they're expert in, they have so many faster feedback loops that reward them in the moment before the ultimate outcome. So if you're a master video editor, there's so many things that you can do that while editing, you make one change and then it looks right. You have a positive feedback loop. And so I think when you're on the start path, you can't look at the outcome as the only positive because you will never make it. And so the positive frame that I've always used is, sure, you can have the external ones of like, I like thinking about my first videos had like 13 views. And I'm like, well, if I had an audience of 13 people, I used to spend years pitching, weight loss stuff to rooms of 13, and that was fine. And so thinking about that way was helpful. But the most helpful frame was thinking about who I was becoming as the asset that I was building. So in real time,
What's up, Basic? Good to see you. I think so. He brings up a good point here. Is let's just rewatch that last little bit.
videos had like 13 views, and I'm like, well, if I had an audience of 13 people, I used to spend years pitching, weight loss stuff to rooms of 13, and that was fine. And so thinking about,
Okay, so he is reframing things, right? And we already talked about this a little bit earlier, as putting that in a habit with the triple S method, but in reframing just your perspective on things, it allows you to continue to persevere. And so again, to reiterate the habit that we established earlier, like setting aside time, whether it's in the morning, evening, wherever works, you just say, okay, for 10 minutes, I'm gonna write down in a journal 1 to 3 things, or 1 to 3 things that bug me about the current situation that I'm in with this state in life, and kind of flip the script, so to speak, flip your perspective on that. So that way it is like more positive, right? So he flipped it from, oh shoot, well my videos must suck, they're only getting 13 views, to, oh, I used to pitch rooms of 13 people for weight loss stuff and that was fine, so I guess my 13 views is fine, right? And it continued to, or it that bolstered him enough to continue to persevere. And so setting aside time to either journal about that or have a mental conversation with yourself, use the triple S method to set that up, give it a what, a when, and a where. Say, okay, from 7 to 7:10 p.m. every day, I'm going to sit down on my couch with my journal and the light on and write down 1, 2, or 3 things that I currently have a negative perspective on that I want to flip to be a positive perspective, and then spend the mental energy and time actually doing that. Like that's gonna work wonders in allowing you to persevere and be more consistent long term.
About that way was helpful. But the most helpful frame was thinking about who I was becoming as the asset that I was building. So in real time, whenever I finished a long day's work, I was becoming more like the type of person who could work for 5 years without reward. And that would be part of the story I would someday tell. And so some of the biggest reinforcers I've had in my life has been future casting the story that I would tell about the shitty period that I was in. Like I remember when I was sleeping on the floor at my gym because I didn't have enough money for 2 rents.
Future casting is also a habit that you could do. Just like, yeah. Yeah.
And I was like, I will fucking tell this story. And when I lost everything for the first time, I have the screenshot of the bank account. Like when I show it, people are like, oh, look, there's that thing. But they forget that there was a person who screenshotted it to be like, this won't fucking happen again. And I think having a larger narrative of where you're ultimately going, one, gives you the vision of where you're knows where he's going. But it allows the dragons that you have to slay along the way, the hard things that you have to overcome, to feed into the larger narrative of the story that you'll someday tell. And so like no one ever tells stories about the hero who made it all happen immediately and had no hardships. No one cares, right? Like, okay, you were born to a billionaire. Is there a story there? Not really. But everyone loves the story because we can see ourselves in the character and how much we hope to be like them. And it's the being like them, not the having what they have, that we usually like. And so reframing ourselves as the hero of that narrative in my harder times was what really got me through that, and thinking, I will tell this story someday.
Have you heard Rogan talk about the be the hero of your own story thing?
Mm-mm.
Oh, dude. It is old now. I think this is maybe even
good.
10 years old. Maybe 10 years old. And he's in he's in the LA podcast studio. And he says, imagine that you're in a movie, and imagine the movie begins now. And you're the hero of the movie.
Yeah.
What would that guy do?
Yeah.
What would that guy do right now?
Yeah.
Because you are.
Thanks, Emery. Have a good one.
Can't stop thinking about your billion-dollar web app idea and how to actually take it off the ground? Well, what if
I just got into business. So actually I just made the investment in school. And I was talking to Sam, the founder, and I said, what?
Sim.
Sam?
Sim.
What's Sim?
Sim. That's the way he says his own
Oh,
name.
yeah. And I was talking to him, and I said, I want to give you the single easiest razor to predict my behavior. And I said, whatever will be the most epic story is the thing that I will most likely do. And so oftentimes the most epic story is not the shortest outcome to victory. It's the long saga that results in this big thing later eventually. And I was like, if you ever want to know, if you're like, I'm not sure what he's going to do in this situation, just wonder what the most epic story to tell would be. And that's
I have a quote for Emery, and that is that the future belongs to the optimists. So, yeah.
it's usually what I will do. And I don't know if that's self-aggrandizing, but that's genuinely my razor for even making the big decisions about, okay, I'm going to sell Gym Launch. I'm going to marry Layla. I'm going to slum it and live at the gym. I'm going to fly around and do turnarounds. I'm going to start this whole idea of a media company that just gives exclusively. Or like, how do I put all these together? It's like, well, what would be the most epic story? And I thought of this idea of just like, when I think about who that story I want to tell is this billionaire that documented the entire thing the whole way and just gave. Because I always thought, I was like, I wish that Elon Musk and Warren Buffett and all these guys would have and Jeff Bezos, would have just I would love to have seen 1997 Amazon content.
Yeah.
And a lot
That'd
of the
been so
content in
sick.
terms of it's getting 5 views. It's it's okay because when we make it, they're going to come back and watch this. So I don't need them to watch it today. I want them to know that it's here when I do.
There's that habit of reframing again. And just taking time to shift your perspective to be more positive. We've already broken it down a couple times on this stream, so I think I'll just leave it as is, but that's pretty fire.
And I think that got me out of the loop of it. I have to win right now. And then every one of them is just dropping a kernel or a breadcrumb for future me to refer back to.
We'll get back to talking to Alex in 1 minute, but first I need to tell you about Element. Element is a tasty electrolyte drink mix with everything that you need and nothing that you don't. Stop having coffee first thing in the morning. Your adenosine link, lmnt.com/modern wisdom. Thank you very much for tuning in. If you enjoyed
That's
that
the
clip
end.
with Alex, the full-length 3.5-hour podcast is right.
Oh, okay. Well, that's that then. Huh. Dope. Okay, Reyes says, where do realists stand in all of this? Because although I understand the idea of having a positive sense of self, future casting your life is a little funny and absurd. No? It's a good question, Rhea. I cannot definitively say where realists stand in all of this, but I really wouldn't say future casting my life is a little funny and absurd. If you study, I've listened. There's a podcast called the Founders Podcast where this guy named David Senra, all he does is he reads the biographies and autobiographies of ultra successful entrepreneurs and then takes the entrepreneurial lessons, puts them in podcast form. It's an absolutely phenomenal resource for entrepreneurs, but also for just everyone in general if they want to be a high performing individual. And there are a lot of those examples of people who have made it as far as a financial successful term goes, or definition goes, that future cast or visualize or essentially build their own future. Honestly, to me in my head, future casting is just reverse engineering. You can reverse engineer your future. There's another short video. Let me see if I can find it here and we can watch it because it's pretty good. And it explains my my take on this.
The world belongs to optimists because if you're going to do anything big, you have to believe that it can happen. Otherwise, it never will.
The cynics get to be right and the optimists get to be rich.
Yeah.
Oh,
The
wait,
world
that was the
belongs to
short
optimists.
one.
Because
Where's the longer one? How long is this? Here we go.
the world belongs to optimists. Because if you're going to do anything big, you have to believe that it can happen. Otherwise, it never will.
That Sean Puri thing. The cynics get to be right and the optimists get to be rich.
99% right and 100% wrong.
Mm-hmm.
So they're right 99% of the time. But they're wrong 100% because the only thing that matters is the big one at the end. Your family and friends will say that every girl that you ever date is not good enough. Except for the one time you find the girl that you're actually going to marry. And then it doesn't matter, or like this won't last, or like this business idea, it's not going to work. And you might have 9 failures. I felt my first 9 businesses didn't really amount to anything. 9, as in the first one, spent time, fucking failed. Second one, this one will be different, fucking failed. Third one, this is the one. And then 6 more after that, right? I'm just painting this picture because the world belongs to optimists.
So that's kind of my thought process with this is like, I mean, nothing's stopping you from being a realist. But at the end of the day, what's the point in being a realist if the optimists win? Like I see no difference personally between just choosing, like the difference for me between realism or nihilism or whatever is that the optimists are just happier. And you've only got one shot at life, so why would you not choose to make it the best that you can in all aspects, right? Um let me know your thoughts in the chat on that. I'd love to go back and forth with it a little bit. But that's just kind of where my mind initially went. Is that what do you have to lose? Like by future casting your life or by reverse engineering, saying, okay, well, 20 years from now I'm going to be here, and then reverse engineering that and acting in accordance with that re-engineer or reverse engineering, like what do you have to lose? You have everything to gain and nothing to lose, in my opinion. And so I'm like, why would you not? That's my thought. Yeah, let me know what your thoughts are on that. But yeah, so with the rest of the time that we've got for the stream, if any of you guys have any habits that you are looking to be more consistent with, you can go ahead, drop them down in the chat, and we'll re-engineer it using the triple S method, which was what we were using to break down some of these things that they talked about in this last video that we watched. You guys just get to hop onto my algorithm here, which I've spent years curating to be full of good stuff and not just random memes. So hopefully you enjoy that. But yeah, there's a lot of good stuff. I feel like most people would be really nervous if they scrolled through their algorithm like this, like on live or something, but I'm just chilling. This looks funny. The impossible camera. But yeah, so if any of you guys have any habits that you're looking to be more consistent with, go ahead, drop them down in the chat. We'll re-engineer them using the triple S method that I developed. So making your habits super specific, super small, super simple. And if any of y'all have any other comments, thoughts, reactions, whatever on the video that we watched, I'd love to hear them. Rhea said, there's more to life than cynicism and optimism. Generally, the argument for why you wouldn't fine tune your life is because you're expending your time and energy on things that ultimately don't matter. Yeah. I mean, you could make that argument. Um, hmm. I mean, so for me personally, and everyone's got different opinions, right? But for me personally, the purpose of life is to gain as much experience and knowledge as I can. Um, yeah, it is definitely difficult to have a conversation about it on a YouTube live. Um, yeah, I definitely don't agree with the cynimism. the cynicism side of things, I think being a cynic is just not really helpful at all. Um, like if you're around a complainer, they just always bring everything down and never bring anything up. Like it's always a negativity thing and never a positive. And there's really just no point to that, in my opinion. Complaining doesn't actually solve any problems. It's just complaining. Um, and so I guess it just depends, like, what your individual, like, what's the meaning of life, what's the purpose of life type of thing is. Um, and for me, it's like I want to make the most of my life, and I think you do that through gaining knowledge and having experiences as much as you can in life. And I think that you can take that with you. I believe that you can take that with you in the next life. The money, like if you're focused on making a bunch of money, you don't take that with you. But I believe that you take your knowledge, you take your soul and like the person that you become. I believe that you take that with you to the next life. So that's kind of my purpose in developing a personality of being an optimist, is because I can take that with me and that will matter. Um, so again, that's just my personal take on it and not uh, something anyone else needs to subscribe to necessarily. But um, yeah. Hmm. Let's see. How do I? If I just boom and then reformat myself here a little bit. There we go. Um, okay, Reyes says, yes, I agree. Being optimistic is always better, but constantly obsessing over being greater is not helpful, in my opinion. Just go with the flow is something that resonates with me. Um, yeah, I like if you're constantly obsessing over what you lack, then your life is going to be very lackluster because you're never going to have what you actually want or what you think that you need. Um, I don't think there's anything wrong with trying to be the best version of yourself. Uh, but you need to live life with an understanding that the best version of yourself is going to look different every single day. And being able to accept that reality can be difficult. Um, and it's going to be more difficult on some days than it is on others. Um, but I think that's the key is just being willing to try. Being willing to try to be the best version of yourself every single day, and then recognize and accept the fact that at times you're going to fall short of that ideal, and just be okay with it and move on, because tomorrow's another new day. Um, I see where saying just go with the flow is could be helpful. Um, but I think that also depends on what you want your life to look like long term. Um, because if you just go with the flow, chances are you might end up being more of an object that is acted upon by the people around you than an actor in your own life itself. Um, which personally for me is not something I want to happen. Um, and if that's something that anyone listening to this, they're just like, yeah, I just don't really care, then that's totally fine. Um, I just care, and I care a lot. Um, I'm definitely what you could consider a control freak. So, um, and I recognize that sometimes that puts me in a position where I'm too obsessed with either like chasing perfection or chasing growth or change or something. But it's still something that I'm personally working through. So we'll keep working on it. Yeah. Yeah, I'm glad we can be civil about this on the internet because I feel like most times people on the internet just be wild and so that's good. I appreciate that. Rhea, you a G, you a homie. Um yeah. If anyone on here has any habits that they're looking to be more consistent with, would love to re-engineer those. Um yeah. I think we've only got like 2 people on here though, so low key better just find another YouTube video to watch because I freaking love this. Let's see. This video looks interesting.
Question for you, real quick.
Oh wait, shoot. I gotta display my screen again if I'm gonna do this. Okay, here we go.
For 30 seconds, I have one of the biggest business media channels in the world. We got 11 million followers.
You really don't.
Wait, right here. Let me get you. Can I get you? Let me get you. How old were you when you made your first million?
Honestly, that was not too long ago. That was actually like maybe 10 years ago. But then it switched. I sold everything and now I'm starting over with an app.
Actually.
So you gotta have some balls to do this shit.
So what line of business were you in?
I used to be in the dry cleaning business. I had 10 dry cleaners
You had
in
10
Williamsburg,
dry
Brooklyn.
cleaners.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
How did you scale up from 1 to 10 locations? Was it hard?
No, so the trick is, right, you want to own the factory. If you own the factory, then everything else is a pop-up. So that looks like a cleaners, but all you're doing is tagging and bagging. Then the van comes around, picks everything, takes it to the factory. So you could get a 500 square foot place and still make $50,000 a month.
That's game.
Because remember, a shirt is called a wash and press. It costs about 40 cents to the hanger. You're charging $1.99.
When you own the factory, I'm assuming that your competitors also become your customer.
Correct, because
Yeah.
now they want wholesale.
Are you a good salesman?
I'm an incredible salesman.
Yeah.
I can sell sand to a beach.
Give me a quick 30-second long sales masterclass right here.
I will tell you what my mentor told me. Be more interested than interesting. We live in a world where people want a reaction
Yep.
right now. That's not how life works.
That's
if you want to
facts.
really be a millionaire, this shit's gonna take time. It's not about investing. Do you know how you keep your money? Stay who you are. Don't be a weirdo. You haven't been driving a Lambo. Why do you want one now? And then you're on Instagram looking goofy. I'm 56 years old. Don't do goofy shit.
Thank you so much for your time.
Bro, I
you got amazing advice.
love your shit, bro. I watch your shit all the time.
Hey, you know what? Everything happens for a reason. I'm glad you were there.
But I hate when people do dumbass shit like that.
It's all good.
You know why? 'Cause
They don't know.
No, they don't see enough gray in your hair. This is the biggest mistake. People measure. Oh, he's too young. He don't know. Wake up. He knows more than you.
Question for you, real quick.
Always stay humble. Always stay humble, baby. That's what'll get you further than anything else. That's fun. But yeah, if we've got like 10-ish minutes left on the live. So if any of you guys have any habits that you're looking to be more consistent with, go ahead, drop them down in the chat. And we'll re-engineer them. Yo, what's good, NNL? Good to see you back, boss man. Yeah. So we yep, okay, good. That's what I thought. I've been thinking about our conversation like the last week or so. And that's kind of what inspired this transition is to like be watching the videos. And then so now I'm watching. I'm literally just like scrolling here. I'll pull it back up. I'm literally just like scrolling through my algorithm that I've already curated. Like I've spent years curating my algorithm to only give me like good, productive crap. Stuff that is actually going to be helpful. And so you guys get the benefit of that by I'll watch these videos now on this live stream and then break them down and just like use the triple S method to break down the advice that they're giving even further, right? Um, and so just like watch, I don't know, we could watch this Dave Ramsey ask Graham Stephan if he has a life, and how cheap is he, and then break down like the financial habits using the triple S method to make them specific, small, and simple enough that you can go and implement them right now today. I think that'll add one be more engaging for people, and two, add some more value in a different way every day, because it's like every day is going to be uh, different just based off of whatever random video I decide that I want to watch today based on my algorithm. So, um, like we could watch this video tomorrow or something. Like literally just whatever video I want to watch. So, like how YouTube changed my life with 1,000 subscribers. Like that would be cool. Um, but yeah, just checking that out. Or like a Jim Carrey motivation, like, okay, Jim Carrey, this motivation stuff is really cool, but let's break this down using the triple S method. How could I actually oh wait, I didn't mean to click that. We'll watch that some other day. How could the triple S method like actually benefit me? Or sorry, how could the triple S method break this down and actually benefit people to um for them to go out and implement the tactics that are being talked about in this video right from the get-go. Because the fact of the matter is, most people like would watch a video like this um and still sit there and say, okay, well, how do I do this? Right? Because no one teaches people in school how to actually build habits. And so most people learn that through a lot of trial and error when they're older. And I was blessed enough to learn it at a younger age. And so now I'm just like, all right, let's teach this, man. Let's teach this crap to everyone. Because why would you not? But yeah, I'm glad you like it, bro. So that's gonna be every day. Now going through watching whatever videos I want to do on my algorithm. Um, and uh, winning, bro. We winning. So yeah, super cool. Oh, I slouched down. That's funny. Let's see here. So if any of you guys have any habits that you're looking to be more consistent with, you can go ahead, drop them down in the chat. We'll reverse engineer them, or not reverse engineer them. We'll re-engineer them using the triple S method. So making your habits super specific, super small, super simple. That way they actually stick, just like we did in the video today. And yeah, if anyone's got a few of those, then we'll run it. But if not, it looks like people are just chilling on the stream here. So I'm probably gonna hop off and go do some other work. Maybe. But yeah, that's the thought. Glad you like it, bro. Glad you like it. I like it too. I think it'll be a lot of fun. Okay. Awesome, awesome. I think I'm gonna wrap it up today then. If no one's GG's, keep it up. Appreciate it, brother. I will. I will be. We got a lot of good content. That's gonna start dropping here in the next month or so. We're gonna be getting live interviews going starting next week. We're gonna be starting filming those. We're gonna build up a content database for um a couple weeks before we start posting everything. Just so we've got some flexibility and time schedule there. But yeah, it's gonna be good, dude. It's gonna be way good. So glad y'all are here at the beginning. Appreciate you being the OGs, and keep the change and keep